Welcome back to the On Deck Circle podcast brought to you by the Fantasy Six Pack. I am your Celtics loving host, which with my ugly painter Celtics hat, my Kristaps Porzingis and Jaylen Brown white man can't jump t-shirt. I
Nice.
am ready for this evening. We have about 30 minutes until tip, so this is gonna be a nice and succinct episode.
Yeah.
But Jason, before we do get this quick episode started, it is my favorite part of the week, which is the cold open question of the week. This has nothing to do with baseball, but two other passions of the both of ours, which is rap.
Mm-hmm.
Which side of the Kendrick Lamar and Drake beef are you on? Ready, set, go. All right, Jason. So what do we got here? We could do a couple minutes on this if we're being completely honest.
So I've been trying to stay away from this because I think it's just really stupid, and it's just it's like a very attention grabbing. It's almost like we need to have beef in the rap game, so let's just conjure some up. But for the sake of topic and the sake of question, I will. And I've gotten this question from another kid at my other job, a much younger kid than I am, and he asked me who I said I am, and it's hard to almost I don't know. I say it's embarrassing, but I am a Drake stan.
Oh, Jason.
So and there's two reasons I have to say this. One, I'm a Drake stan, and two, I just do not like Kendrick Lamar. Never have. I don't like his style of rap. He's just not my cup of tea. Okay. I know people love him and people adore him. I believe, if I'm wrong, I believe he is a Grammy-winning rap artist. Yeah. I just do not like his style. I don't even know what it is.
Okay. Is it his voice or the way that it's more like a melody? And
I think it's just his approach. I don't like his voice. I don't like his I don't know what to call his approach, but his delivery. Okay. He's just not my. It was weird because I'm a very, very heavy East Coast rap fan. I do not. This is a hot take. I am not a huge Tupac fan.
Okay.
This is a huge hot take when it comes to rap takes.
Like Snoop Dogg.
Now,
or like Dre.
That I can deal with a little bit. It's weird. I grew up, listening to NWA and a huge Tupac fan, but maybe it's my taste that's gotten older, but I just do not get down on West Coast rap anymore. I don't know.
Wow.
It's just not my flow anymore. But that's not the question of the week. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Drake because I'm a huge Drake stan.
Okay, yeah. So I'm the opposite. I'm a complete Kendrick Lamar guy. Seen him maybe 3 or 5 times in favorite rapper, Kendrick, 100%. So
over Mac?
What?
Yeah. Over Mac?
Yeah.
Okay.
Have you listened to any of the songs or no?
The diss songs?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Of course.
Okay.
I didn't. Also, another thing, real quick. I did not like Kendrick's weird, slow, whispering type, almost like serenading us with his.
Is that Euphoria? I think that was the first.
Yeah. Euphoria. Yeah.
It was good, and you need to admit that.
I don't know if I've heard that one. What's the other one that just came out?
It's the one, the one of the big lines was, "I seem to be striking a chord, call it A minor," because Drake
Diddy
allegedly
part of Diddy parties.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that the one that's maybe I'm getting confused. The one is the one I'm talking about is the picture of the clothing and some of the stuff on top of it.
So I'm talking about the picture is Drake's home with the it's got like the markers of a sex offender on it.
Okay.
Yeah. So just go ahead and check that out whenever
Okay.
But yeah, I feel like everyone's talking about it's being referenced. I know this is also this is going to be my own fault when I missed the tip of the Celtics game. Did you watch the Tom Brady roast?
So I have not, but I am watching it this weekend. Two things. One, I was out of town last weekend. Two, I didn't even realize I had been seeing commercials for it. I didn't realize it was already here. I thought it was like coming in like a month or two, and then all of a sudden it dropped on Sunday.
Dude,
I was like I said, I was out of town.
I don't know if I feel this way just because like Tom Brady was like the biggest athlete of my life.
Yeah,
but it was so good. And what did upset me was I love Tom Segura and Bert Kreischer, and they absolutely bombed.
Oh, did they?
They were not great, but the rest of it was like seeing Belichick there was great. Like Bledsoe, just the whole gang was there. There was one joke I am going to say one. It was Edelman said, the next time we're all going to be with each other is going to be at Kraft's funeral.
Oh, shit. Was Robert Kraft there?
Yes.
Oh, I have every intention of watching that this weekend. I've heard it's been awesome. I saw like some, obviously highlights on social media and stuff, but I'm trying to avoid them because I don't want the jokes to be spoiled. Obviously, the jokes hit a lot harder when you hear them first.
Yes. So we'll check in on that next week. I will ask you. That is your homework. And now, Jason, you do whatever you have to do to get me off of my tangent that has nothing about hip hop and football and a little bit of hoop too.
Yeah.
So let's just go, Jason.
I'd love to get down on some hoop action. I got a ton to talk about. I've been, as a Bulls fan, I've been avoiding the NBA all season. Now we're in the playoffs. I'm all in to talk about it, but we got things to talk about besides NBA. Last week we talked about rookie performances. I feel like it maybe kind of do more of our like a fantasy side to it, our dynasty side to it. We're going to kind of talk about the top performers that we've kind of outlined here from the first month of the season. We got one pitcher, one hitter, one prospect. Kind of run through these here. But before we do that, we got a couple things to talk about before we get into all of that. The first thing is some business aspect of things here. Do you want to get access to the most accurate fantasy baseball rankings according to Fantasy Pros? Do you want to get custom league advice on our Discord? You can do all that by signing up to become an all-access member today at fantasy6pack.net/plans. See it right down here on the bottom on the ticker. Go to that website. I think you can still use promo code F6PMLB24 to save 15%. Again, those rankings are killer. We have rest of the season rankings. We got dynasty rankings, prospect rankings, tons of rankings, all most accurate to fantasy baseball rankings according to Fantasy Pros. Do that now. Before we get into our top performances, we got a few things to talk about in the news side of things. Most notably, Olivia Dunn's boyfriend. See what I did there?
Livy Dunn.
Livy Dunn, sure, yeah. Paul Skenes is making his debut this Saturday against my Cubs. Don't know how to feel about that.
Is it at home?
It's in Pittsburgh.
Oh, I was going to say, yeah.
If it was in Chicago, I may have to cancel my plans and go. But no, it's in Pittsburgh. The league's top pitching prospect, again, he'll come up Saturday. He's starting. He's looked basically unhittable so far. He basically probably should have started the year on the opening day roster. But again, it was a pitcher that, had limited exposure last year in the minors after being drafted. He's got a sub-1 whip so far and 45 Ks and 27 innings at AAA. 43% K rate in 27 innings so far. I think he's ready for the bigs. And look out now, but that Pirates rotation now, if Skenes can live up to what he's been doing, you got Skenes, Jared Jones looked amazing. Mitch Keller,
decent, yeah.
Yeah. They could be cooking something up here in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
But
I'm definitely excited about this. I think I saw a tweet and it was like, is this the biggest debut since Strasburg? I'm not counting Yamamoto because that was this is a draft last
prospect.
I think this might be the best one since Strasburg, as in hype wise. Would you agree?
Right. Yeah, I think so. I mean, we haven't really seen a can't miss generational pitching prospect probably since then.
Yeah.
And
he kind of missed, which is
yeah,
hilarious. Like,
yeah.
I mean, he was fine, but
Right. I mean, he was really good beginning of his career, and then yeah, shame on him. He was on the Nationals.
yeah.
But yeah, I think you're right. I think that tree's probably pretty accurate. I wanted to almost think about. I'm looking up real quick. I want to know what. Obviously, it's still a day away, but what his pitching or strikeout pitching props are going to be. Because the Cubs don't strike out a lot, but they also haven't faced a pitcher of Skenes' caliber. I would say I would probably go up to at least 5 strikeouts in his debut.
Okay. All right. I like that. Is that going to be maybe your bet of the week? Maybe?
It is not. It's not. But
so that's just like a throw it away. Here you go. Yeah.
Yeah, a little teaser there for the Beck's bet of the week. Yeah. But yes, that's super exciting. We'll check in on what's to come with the skiing starting next week, as well as the Tom Brady roast update. Yeah. We had another big news here this week. Kyle Manzardo finally gets his call up this past week. Been not on purpose, but I've been having him stuck on my TGFBI roster, and I think it might be panning out here in a sense. I kept using him as one of my drop options, and I kept getting outbid every week.
It just wasn't getting
outbid. We've had maybe 5 weeks of waivers. I have been outbid on everybody. Now, I also probably have the most fab left at like $900 something, so that could come into favor later on in the year. But I've been stuck in TGFBI with these scrubs that have been drafted, and the injuries are piling up, and I keep trying to drop these players, and I've just been not that aggressive in my fab, and it's been costing me. But Manzardo gets called up. He's still on my TGFBI league. He may be in my lineup next week. We'll see. Been awesome at AAA, but
he didn't play. Like if you were like Nick, $1 million, has Kyle Manzardo been in the majors yet? I would have been like, yeah, he played last year for the Rays or something. But no, I can't believe this is the first time he's up.
It's crazy. And maybe it's for a good reason, because he's been pretty bad. When I say pretty bad, he's got 5 strikeouts in his first 8 at-bats. Yeah. Again, now I don't know if that's just a little bit of like nerves, and his first call to the big leagues could be a little bit, because he's definitely not overmatched. I mean, he's definitely produced at every level he's been in. So I think I'm just gonna keep holding him in TGFBI for now. I don't know why else not to. Because then it's the Cleveland Guardians. They're not a super sexy lineup, but they'll put up runs. The lineup's kind of pretty underrated, with both Naylor brothers have been really well. Jose Ramirez. We'll see what what's in store for him as we come along here. But yeah, I thought it'd be kind of interesting to see that he's finally gotten the call. Only took probably 1.5 years too longer than he should have, but
yeah.
All right, that's the news section of this. Let's get into our top performers this year, and if we are buying are these guys legit, or is this someone just like hot flavor of the month? We'll start with the hitters. I can go first. I'll talk about my hitter.
All right.
This one is, I don't know if it's a bit of a surprise, but I think it's a surprise in the sense that it's still happening. And that's Marcelo Ozuna. The old dog is up to his old tricks.
He's not getting in a car.
Yeah, that's true too.
But he's not up to those tricks, Jason.
Yeah, I'm talking about his tricks on the field specifically. After basically looking washed up like 2 years ago, I think it was like 2021, where he just had like an awful season. He had back-to-back good seasons since then. 40 home runs, 100 RBIs last year. And right now, his 12 home runs and 38 RBIs lead all of baseball in both those categories. And he's basically on pace for, what's that, like 75 home runs, I think? Something like that.
Imagine if he hit 75 dogs.
Right? As a 33-year-old. But if you look at his baseball savant, I mean, I almost want to share this just because it's like, I'm not sure there's anyone I've seen have this high of, what's it called? Not percentage, but percentile that he's in.
Yeah.
Let me just bring this up here real quick because it's actually really crazy. And we've seen red pages before, but never to like. These are crazy. Like those top ones: the X WOBA, the XBA, the X slug, exit velocity, barrel rate, hard hit percent rate, sweet spot rate. Now, again, with those great numbers, you're also going to get a bunch of strikeouts. But he's also walking almost 12% of the time too. So he looks locked in as ever, which is a good thing because somebody on that team needs to do something with both. Is it crazy or is it me or is it just crazy that remember I brought up a stat about Ozuna getting less stolen bases, like less than 30, I think is my bold prediction. Yep. I don't want to jinx it. I do have him on several teams in my redraft formats, but he's been basically non-existent so far this year. I think he has like one home run in the first. I don't know. I don't know those stats up here now, but last time I checked, I think he has like one home run and like 5 stolen bases through the first month of the season. So thankfully, Marcelo Ozuna has been picking it up right where he left off. I think you basically can count on 30 plus home runs from Ozuna. He's basically done it in every year of his career except for I think it was 2021. He had a really bad year. And with let's see here. In 2021, I looked at this earlier. He had so he had 7 home runs in only half a season in 2021. But other than that, it's been 20, 30 home runs every year. I think this hot start is off. Obviously, it's been one of his best starts so far, but it's the same with the old with him, with Marcell Ozuna. I think it's good to see again with a great April this year.
Yeah, he's been awesome. And what's so great is if you got him in like a redraft, you got him fairly late because he's like an old reliable. He's just like, okay, he's good for 30. And like he might not he'll get you RBIs, he'll get you some runs. It might not be like a sexy 30, but it's going to be a 30, and that's important. So yeah, he was someone that I was trying to target like throughout any league, really. I think I got him in 2 out of 3 of my redrafts, so I'm definitely happy with it for sure. My only issue is in some leagues he is utility only.
This is true.
I think in TJFBI he is, and I think that's where I have him in 1. So that kind of stinks, but like it's still 30 bombs, so whatever.
Yeah, an ADP of 150. So yeah, in 12-team leagues, it's outside the top 10. So top 10 rounds. So all right, we're gonna go on to your guy here, which I thought was a really good a good pick here too, and that is William Contreras.
I have a take, Jason.
Okay.
William Contreras is the Dynasty 1 catcher.
Oh, I think that's that.
Is that not a take?
No, I think it's a take, but I don't think it's as hot as you think it is. But with guys like Adley, I could see it being a little bit of a
name-wise.
It's a lukewarm.
Okay. Take. All right. Great. Just for some reference, this offseason, I traded Marcelo Mayer straight up for William Contreras. And I don't think I've ever been more happy about a trade because especially now, it's so hard if you don't have Adley, Will Smith, sometimes Sean Murphy. I know he's hurt, but if you don't have one of those like top end catchers, you're just kind of punting catcher. So having a catcher like this, who I believe is still 26, so we're still going to get like at least 4 more years of peak productivity here. And Jason, he leads catchers in stolen bases. I had no idea that he even stole bases. And he has 3 stolen bases. He's getting on base at a crazy rate. This team in general, I find myself targeting a lot of Brewers. I don't know why. They have a lot of just like good players. They're not a great team, but they have good players.
Yeah.
And Contreras is their best one by far. And he's just been so great to watch. Unfortunately, whenever I look him up, I do type in Wilson and I feel bad afterwards. But it's in his bloodline. He's very good. I don't think anybody saw this really coming, at least going into this season. Now people are like, I have been seeing tweets being like, is he Dynasty catcher number 1? Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But I think if you offered William Contreras to the Adley owner, they would laugh in your face, but they shouldn't.
No, I had a discussion when I think it was like last weekend when the Cubs were playing the Brewers, and I don't even say not only is probably like the top 1A catcher for Dynasty, but this guy is slowly becoming one of the best hitters when it comes to Dynasty. Because like not only does he hit for power, but his approach to the plate has been really good. He hits for a high average lately, and like his runners, his batting average, his runner scoring position has also been really good. Where's he at right now? He's already got. I was going to look up his RBIs. They don't. Whatever reason they don't show it here. But his RBIs have been like really good too and surprising. I think again. I don't think. I mean, obviously, if Atlanta knew it, people didn't really know this was coming. Obviously, Atlanta wouldn't have traded him away.
Yeah, this is a red mark on this Braves team that we think are geniuses.
Yeah, he's got 29 RBIs already from a catcher position.
That is, I think him and Juan Soto are the two people that are like completely just keeping my team afloat in one league.
But yeah, this is great. I love it. I remember when he was coming up in the Atlanta system, I was like, oh, he's just Wilson's brother,
exactly.
Whatever. He's just
better
like,
than him.
I think he will end up having a better career than his brother.
I think Wilson had like maybe like 2 or 3 like good years.
Yeah.
But this seems like a better baseball player in general, not necessarily like Wilson's a great catcher. Unfortunately, he just broke his wrist or his arm or something.
Yeah, that was crazy.
But yeah, just keep William behind the plate a little bit.
Yep. All right, let's go on to our pitchers now. My guy, a little bit of a homer pick here. Can't be on deck circle without a homer pick. I wanted to go. There's a bunch of guys I could have picked up, but I feel like I need to spotlight what Javier Assad has done so far in the first month of the season so far. He was one of those guys that like he did come up and make some starts last year for the Cubs in August, September. Some decent results, but what he's been doing so far this year has been really impressive. He's been like the Cubs right now. He's sliding in as the Cubs number 5 starter, and I'm pretty sure he's going to hold on to that spot the whole year. His 1.66 ERA ranks in the top 5 of all pitchers in baseball. I almost wanted to pick Shota because of what he's been doing, but we talked about Shota last week. I feel like it's time to talk about Assad. I actually could have picked any one of the Cubs starting pitchers. It's been insane what they've been doing so far. They've basically literally catapulted this team in the first place. But yeah, his home run, the fly ball rate is also the top 10 in the league. Both his xERA and x batting average suggest that this is legit. What he's been doing has not been getting lucky. It's not been fluky. This is actually what he's been doing has actually been sustainable. I don't see any reason why he does not, how he leaves this rotation. There's no one knocking on the door. I don't think Jordan Wicks is going to come unless some reason he just doesn't kind of has the bottom fall out over fatigue at the end of the year, but he'll definitely at least have a good first half, if not first three quarters of the season, and I'm all for it.
Yeah, was he someone that did he have any like hype as in like even just like from Cubs fans where people like, oh, we got this guy coming, like even like behind Ben Brown, behind who's the big guy? Who's the really good pitch? Oh, Horton. Like,
yeah,
people like watch out for Javier, or was it just like out of nowhere?
No, I mean he was pretty much just like a bullpen arm for a while. Like they would bring him up and just like use him out of the bullpen, and it was more just like more like organizational depth. And then they gave him a shot at this rotation at the end of last season because they needed arms, and he kind of was really efficient last year. So then this year, they obviously, with a bunch of injuries in the beginning of the season, they needed more depth. And he's obviously proven that, he's absolutely worth staying in the rotation because he's been awesome.
I like it. Let's go.
Let's go over to your guy here, and that's going to be Seth Lugo.
We both kind of have very unsexy picks here.
But that's fine. I mean, like you said, anyone can go look at the standings or the leaderboards. Like, oh, there's the top performer.
Yeah,
but
this one was very jarring for me, and it made me kind of wonder about the Royals in general. I'm not going to call them like a pitching factory, but like the guys that they acquired this offseason have been so good for them. Like Walker's been good. And now we got this Seth Lugo, who was someone that I was like, let's have the Red Sox sign him, have him be the third or fourth starter, and call it a day. But like, he's been unbelievable. He's not going to wow you with like anything, like no crazy high strikeout numbers. What is somewhat not worrisome, but his expected ERA is over 4, but his current ERA is sitting at 1.92. So that's almost 2 runs, which is bananas to me. Like usually we'll see like a run or run and a half like difference there, but a full 2 is kind of crazy. But again, this is someone that you can go target, and just because his name is Seth Lugo, you might be able to get him at like a reasonable price, and he's going to contribute now. And Dynasty, this is tough because he is 34, which
right.
I mean, isn't that old, but like, I don't know. If you pull up his baseball savant page, it's not great.
It is not.
But the actual production is so good. And at some point you got to just be like, okay, like we're almost in June.
Yep.
And like this sample is no longer a sample. This is almost like the trend. So definitely someone that I'm interested in. If I'm a team, I'm both probably looking to buy him and sell him. If I have him, I'm trying to sell him. If I don't have him, I want to buy him.
Yeah.
Just to see where we're at. But he's definitely someone that like you would never have expected me to pick Seth Lugo when we talked about this. But I was just like, this is odd.
Yeah. No, when you sent me the names of who you're picking, I was like, well, it's an odd name, but it's definitely warranted. Like he's been really good this year. And like you said, the Savant page isn't sexy, but last time I checked, I don't play in any leagues where my xERA or hard hit rate is a category that you count in fantasy. So as long as the other results are there, I'm not really too concerned. I'm gonna keep riding the hot starts of Seth Lugo, and for whatever reason, if he starts to falter at the end, it's like whatever. It's a 34-year-old Seth Lugo. Just move on with your dynasty or your fantasy league. All right, that's going to do for our major leagues. Let's get over here now to our prospects. This one I was kind of trying to figure out. There's been a lot of good prospects, but most of them have kind of promoted, right? So like we don't really talk about them anymore. But I felt like this one was a little bit of a bone I got to throw, and that's going to be to the Chicago White Sox, who've been not just bad, historically bad. And I'm going to talk about one of their top prospects. That's Jacob Gonzalez, who actually was their first round pick in 2023.
Yep.
Had a little bit of a experience last year in the minors after he got drafted, but this year so far, he's off to a super hot start. He's slashing 298, 402, 452, 3 home runs, 11 RBIs, 5 stolen base. He's got a really good approach at the plate. He's got a strikeout rate down below 10% so far this year. He's already got more walks than strikeouts. Had almost a lot of the same things that we saw what he was doing at Mississippi in college. We're seeing it translate here to the minor leagues. This organization is in dire need of something.
Anything.
Although I will say, once they signed Tommy Pham, he's jolted that lineup a little bit. They've won some games.
The White Sox haven't been. Same with even the A's have been frisky too.
Oh, yeah. I mean, everyone thought the A's were going to be like what the White Sox are, but the A's have been playing almost 500 baseball.
The Marlins are the worst team ever.
Well, the Sox have just recently became good in the last week. Yes. Once they signed Tommy Pham, things have kind of turned around a little bit. But I mean, they've got some pieces that I don't know what they're waiting for. I know that they're really bad, and they don't want to like waste some of this controllability. But the 2 pitchers that they got from the Padres. Most specifically, I can't remember if I pronounce it right, but Irate or the pitcher, Irate, he's been awesome. I don't know why they're waiting for him. They should call him up. I'm not suggesting that they call up Jacob Gonzalez. He still probably needs some time, but this is a guy that we could see as early as I feel like the end of this year. Get a small cup of coffee, and then especially if he continues to play like he has been for the minor league system. Definitely someone to keep an eye on. He's off to a really good start this year. He had a 4-for-4 night I think, last night.
Yep.
So the hit tool is there. The approach plate is there. The power obviously not going to be that great. He's a middle infielder. What do you expect? But the stolen bases and the good ratios. So let's spotlight him for a good start.
That's a good pick, especially because that's like a nice under the radar. Unfortunately, mine is not so much under the radar. But you know what? I've already packed my luchador mask. But we're talking Marcelo Mayer, and this is the second time he's come up because I traded him for my hitter at one point. But Mayer's been great. And you know what? I'm back in on him. I don't think he's going to be the savior of the Red Sox, and that's fine. He's going to be our shortstop, though. And this season, he's really impressed me, mostly because I love the stolen bases. He currently has 6. He's hitting 276, which isn't like amazing. His OBP is Stone Cold Steve Austin. That means it's 316. And he's got 6 stolen bags, 3 homers. He hit one, I think today, actually. I think I saw a video of that. But this is someone that was hurt. He's been hurt, I think, for the majority of his time in the Red Sox organization. And I think right now we're seeing him really just become the player that is going to be a major league shortstop for the foreseeable future. And I'm excited about that. But again, it's just a matter of reminding myself that these are children and he's 20. So me freaking out about him not being great at 19 should not really be an issue. So just wanted to give my man Marcelo Mayer a shout out.
The real question is he's up in Portland. Have you gone and caught a game yet?
We have not. We need to go to Portland soon, actually. But that team is so fun. They have Roman Anthony. They have Kyle Teal. They have Marcelo Mayer.
That's what I'm saying.
I think this summer we're going to have to maybe go up for a day or something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's get on to one of our favorite segments here. I was a winner last week. You were not.
I was not.
That's okay.
My first loss. That's
yeah, it's only first loss. I'm going to go with something that you should be happy is, and that's I'm going to go with Boston tonight, -1.5 at home against Patrick Corbin, getting plus money for some reason. You got Tanner Houck on the bump against an absolutely dead man walking in Patrick Corbin. This is a man that has a 1.8 whip. I don't know how Boston doesn't beat them by 2 runs or more.
Mine is also plus. That's going to be, I actually referred to this team earlier, which was the Miami Marlins, who are awful. It's going to be the Philadelphia Phillies -1.5, which is plus 100 as well. And they're going against Trevor Rogers, who's a good pitcher, but it is his first start back.
He's been bad.
That first start back being against the Phillies is not great. And I love Ranger Suarez in all types of formats, daily, fantasy, everything. So definitely a Philly fan tomorrow.
Awesome, man. Well, I got some homework this weekend. I got to watch a Tom Brady roast.
I got to watch these tonight. Will the Celtics? No, it'll be over. I'm not even going to say will the Celtics series be over. It will be. By the next time that we meet, even if they lose tonight, it's going to be over by then.
I don't see any. Like I said, if I was a betting man, I don't know if I can bet that as an option, but I would bet there might be a sweep here.
All right, I'm into that. You probably could, but honestly, I bet it's probably not even good money.
Right, it's probably like -250 or something.
Yeah, and it's like, all right, I don't know how to do that.
All right, Nick, we'll talk to you next week.
All right, big dog.